All right, this video is for chapter 11.4, chapter 11, section 4. We are going to write the quadratic equations in standard form. So today you'll be given equations either in vertex form or in factored form, and you're going to be asked to put them in standard form. So it looks like this first example, y equals 7 times x minus 3 squared plus 4, that is in vertex form. Remember, vertex form has the parentheses here. In order to put this into standard form, we really just need to multiply everything out. Something important to remember here is that x minus 3 squared. Okay, remember I can't just square x and square negative 3. I have to actually write this as 7 times x minus 3 times x minus 3 plus 4. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is that squared term, you want to write it out twice. Okay, so now once I know what x is, what this really is just one number times another number times another number, right? Once x is given, so like say it's 4, I would have 7 times 1 times 1 plus 4, right? If x were 5, I would have 7 times 2 times 2. Okay, the reason I'm saying this is not because we're going to plug something in for x, but because I just want you to think about this is just 3 numbers multiplied together. When I have 3 numbers multiplied together, so for example, side note, if I had 2 times 3 times 5, I'm not going to multiply 2 times 3 and then multiply 2 times 5 and then multiply the result. I'm just going to multiply 2 and 3 together to get 6, and then I'm going to take that result from multiplying the first two numbers together, and I'm going to multiply it by the third number to get 30. Okay? So I only say that because a lot of times students will take this 7 and they'll try to multiply it all through all of these, which is just not necessary. We just need to take 7 and x minus 3. Those are the first two numbers. We need to multiply them together and get the result. And then we need to take that result and multiply it by x minus 3. And then we'll add 4 at the end. Okay. So 7 is going into the parentheses. 7 times x is 7x. 7 times negative 3 is negative 21. Okay. I do need to put parentheses around that, keep the parentheses there, because I still need to multiply that whole number by that number. Okay, I need to multiply 7x minus 21 times x minus 3. And don't forget, we still have a plus 4 out there. So now I'm going to be using distributive property to multiply 7x into the parentheses, and then I'll do the same for negative 21 into the parentheses. So 7x times x is 7x squared. 7x times negative 3 is negative 21x. 7x times, oh, sorry, skipping, okay. 7x times x, and then 7x times negative 3. We've done both of those. Now we're moving here. So negative 21 times x gives me another negative 21x. Negative 21 times negative 3 gives me plus 63. And then I still have my plus 4, and now it's just combining like terms. So 7x squared, these two are like terms, so that would be negative 42x. And then 63 plus 4 gives me plus 67. So there's the standard form. Okay, the second example here, this is in factored form. So when it's in factored form, it's a little bit simpler. All we need to do is distribute these together. Okay, so x times x is x squared. X times 2 is 2x. Negative 5 times x gives me negative 5x, and negative 5 times 2 is negative 10. Combine these two together since they're like terms. X squared minus 3x minus 10. Their standard form. Okay, next example is again in vertex form. Okay, so this negative out front, that's the same as having a negative 1 out front. So we've got the x plus 2 times x plus 2 minus 6. I'm going to multiply the negative 1 just into the first set of parentheses to get negative x minus 2. Okay, and now I'm going to multiply these two sets of parentheses together. So negative x and x is negative x squared. Negative x times 2 is negative 2x. Negative 2x. Negative 2 and negative, or positive 2 is negative 4, and then plus 6. So negative x squared minus 4x plus 2. just combining like terms together and simplifying. Okay, now this fourth one, this one is in factored form, but it has this -2 out front. So we're doing basically the same thing we did in this first step. We're going to multiply the first number into the first parentheses and then FOIL everything together. So -2 times x is -2x. -2 times -3 would give me +6. Okay, I still want to throw parentheses around that because I'm multiplying all of that by x minus 4. So -2 times x is -2x squared. -2x times -4 gives me +8x. 6 times x gives me +6x, and then 6 times -4 is -24. And then just simplify, combine like terms. 8 plus 6 is 14x. Okay, so remember they have to be like terms in order to combine them. Okay, so that's basically all we're doing today. Okay, we're just multiplying them out, getting them in standard form. On your assignment, if they're already in standard form, just rewrite it, say it's in standard form already. If they're in any other form, you need to multiply them out and get them in standard form. Okay, one other thing you're going to see is it's going to say something like find a polynomial or find a quadratic in standard form with zeros. Whoops, I don't need an E on the end of it. With zeros at 3 and -5, for example. Okay, so if a quadratic has zeros at 3 and -5, okay, that means that I could write it in factored form as x minus 3 times x plus 5, right? Basically just going the opposite of finding zeros. If I have factored form and I want to find the zeros, I set each of these equal to 0 and I solve for x. If I'm given the zeros, I would kind of take the opposite sign, right, and put them back in as factors. So this would be the polynomial that these zeros came from. And then since I need it in standard form, I'm going to go ahead and multiply it out. So x squared plus 5x minus 3x minus 15. So this would give me x squared plus 2x minus 15. So there's the standard form. Okay. If I had for the same question, but the zeros are x equals -4/5 and x equals 3/2. Okay. Again, I would just write them as factors by changing the sign. X plus 4/5, x minus 3/2. Okay. But that's going to be kind of a nightmare to multiply those fractions. But remember our little trick, if we have a number under here that doesn't go in evenly, then we can move it in front of x. So this would be the same as 5x plus 4 times 2x minus 3. And now we can go ahead and multiply this out to get that in standard form. That's 15x plus 8x, and then minus 12. And then just simplifying by combining like terms, -15 plus 8 would be -7x minus 12. Okay, so that's pretty much it for today. Work on the assignment. If you have questions, please email me. Remember, if you have done any checks or CFAs, either redone them or done them after I got them in the gradebook the first time, I won't see your change or your new score, so you'll need to email me and let me know. All right, guys, have a great day.